A very good morning to you all. It is Easter Thursday, and I'm here with my very special guest and good friend, Evelyn McAleer from the County of Tyrone. Evelyn, say hi. Say hi with your mug.
Good morning, everyone. Buenos dias.
Show us your mug, please.
There we go.
Love and laughter. Love and laughter.
Love and laughter.
So let me tell you a little about Evelyn in her own words before we go to the lady herself. So Evelyn McAleer, business name is also Evelyn McAleer. What does your business do, Evelyn? I assist people to awaken to their true magnificence. Really looking forward to hearing that. In business for 3 years, self-employed. Evelyn is a published author of books, A Life You Want and Effortless, as well as being a public speaker, a certified life coach, and a Louise Hay Heal Your Life coach. Evelyn is also a dance instructor. We're in her dance studio this morning, as we just learned, and mother of 3 from the County of Tyrone in Ireland. Evelyn's journey through dance allowed her to excel and ignite a flame which in years to follow created a pathway of endless possibilities. Really excited to hear all about that. And she goes on to say, manifesting is for everyone. You all have the power and magnificence within you to bring about a life of love, joy, happiness, health and wealth, regardless of the outside circumstances. Everything is but an experience in a world of infinite possibilities. What will you choose? Asks Evelyn McAleer. And this is really interesting, something nobody knows about you. She says, I was a massive fan of the movie Dirty Dancing. And at 16 years old, I got to spend a weekend in the actual cabin that featured in the movie, which Baby and her family stayed. It was in Virginia Mountain Lake. Fantastic. There's
wonderful.
Another first. Evelyn McAleer, great pleasure. And it's now over to you. For the next few minutes, tell us who you are before you got into the business that you're in today, please.
Great. Well, good morning, everyone, and thank you all so much. And I think I was manifesting because I seen Liam Burke starting to strip there. I was thinking, this is early morning for you. Thank you so much, everyone, for giving me your time, and Callum for coming on this morning. So, as Callum says, my name is Evelyn McAleer. I'm from the lovely County of Tyrone up here in the north. So prior to doing what I do now, I guess life was just the same as what I would class as the norm, what everybody was doing, going to school and got into university and done all them things. But you often question, like, how young ones know what they actually want to do, you know. So I believe we all have to come through our journeys, and wherever you're at in this time in your life is the right place to be. But we get choices along the way. Went and done the university thing. Always wanted to be a young parent because I was raised with young parents, you know. So I got married at 23 and had all my children. Just on the 30th year, had my last child. So I had that wish fulfilled, and I wanted just the same as what we grow up in, you know, the family life, out working, pressure on, pay the mortgage, build the house, all of them things, and that was what I always think was the first part of life, and a good part of life. Everything's always learning and experience for us. So I think for me at the age, there was things that happen in all of our lives, and there does need to be things that happen for us to come, I believe, to a turning point in our own lives. What do we want life to look like? What do we want to change about in our life? And unfortunately, within our own family, we experienced quite a lot of suicides. Depression would have been a big word that we would have been reared on, you know, even though the crack was great and that, but someone had depression that was fed into them. So I guess at the age of 35, I made the decision or the choice in my life to make change, because no matter what you have materialistic wise, you know, people can look in this, even now, still people would have perceived ideas on other people's lives. God, aren't they doing great? Aren't they well? They're doing this, they're doing that. But, you know, I had it all. I had the big house, this, that, dawn, and you know, and what people would give the right arm for. But I always felt within myself, there was like, it was becoming a spiraling feeling of unhappiness within myself. And I think the more the fear at that end would have been, where's that fine line? Because I witnessed it with, you know, the many family members that had gone through taking their own lives. And that was the fear. Where's that line? Where does somebody have to get to in their life before they step over that. So I wasn't prepared because it got scary at times. So I wasn't prepared myself, and I had choices and I had decisions to make. And I was making choices and decisions based on everyone else's happiness, on what other people would think of me, and trying and forcing it, and still you would find some wee thing that would give you happiness for a short space of time, but then you go back to the old familiar feeling until it came time then for change. So at the age, on the 17th of May, it'll be 11 years ago now coming this time. So this will be my age now showing up. So on the 17th of May, I decided then after 12 years of marriage that it wasn't just the spur of the moment decision, but that was time that I had to make change in my life because I had 3 children. I always said I would live on the side of the road in a cardboard box for happiness. It didn't matter to me what else. I just wanted happiness. But how did I get that? How do I achieve this? Because we strive and we search for a lot of things that's outside of us in order for that to bring it to us. So that was the time in my life where, I stepped away from a 12-year marriage, a fear of everything, that I wouldn't have any money, what would people think of me? Because when you live, especially in the community, where people would, and rumours are ripe, and you're walking with your head in shame, and all them feelings, shame, guilt, and to my religion, guilt to God, all of these things.
That's an incredible start, Evelyn, and thank you for being so honest. One of the things I'm hoping and is being achieved, manifested, use your term, with this series is people are becoming open and honest with others, because I think if we're open and honest with ourselves and we're willing to share that with others, not that there's any pressure to do so, but I think it allows other people to feel like, there's somebody else out there who sees the world perhaps in similarly to the way I do. So very much thank you for sharing that. And so that was your early life, if you like. That was up to 12 years ago. We've all worked out your age by now. You're 11.
11, just coming 11.
11. So level 46 this year. But it's very exciting. And so that was your journey. You made a significant change at that time. That had to have been difficult.
That's correct.
Had to have been difficult. And then would you take us from there to how you got into the work that you do today, please?
Well, it just didn't come all of a sudden, but you know what, when you're in a situation, this is relevant too nowadays, but when you're in a particular situation where you think, right, I now need to do something. What is it that I have to offer? What can I give? What do I love, more to the point? So dancing was always something that I'd done. I loved dancing. So I made a decision at that stage to go into dancing. Do you know what? At that stage, I was receiving benefits, right? And it was soul destroying to go in every week or fortnight to sign on. Because I was thinking, here's this woman that went to university, that had her house, that had this here. Now I'm going in asking the government to assist me. And then I came up, I can have my own business doing dancing. Sure, there was people had asked me to come to it became on the curriculums here for kids to dance at schools. Somebody said to me, why don't you come to the schools and dance? But then you see, you get them wee niggly doubts. Jesus, what would I be doing going there? What would I know, or how would I do? So I got licenses, I got trained up on doing this and doing that. And I said to the people that when I was signing on at that time, because they had this business plan, you didn't have to come near the office. For 6 months, we'll send you through all these business things. I sort of knew most of the stuff because I'd covered business at university, but it was to get out of having to go into the soul destroying place. So I don't actually think any of them believed that I could make a business out of dancing. So after the 6 months, because I was working away, and I was building up my wee business on the side, after 6 months I went back and says, there you go, I'm ready to sign off now. I've got my business. And the woman was like, seriously? And I says, seriously. So at that stage, Carl, I'm sorry, I went out, I got business cards made, went out to all the primary schools around the country. This is what I do. This is what I bring to the children. And it was more about dancing. It was confidence. It was imagination. It was all of them things. So business started building with the dancing. And that was great because I thought, Jesus, I'm in heaven. I only have to go out a couple of hours a day, do what I actually love, interact with kids and get paid for it. And then I was getting people saying, will you come and do class? Will you do this? And then I got my wee studio built and people started coming here. So lo and behold, I built up a wee business with dancing in that end to get me onto my coaching. Now that only was about 3 years ago how that all started, because I always felt there was something more. I knew there was something more, but I just didn't know what is that more. You know, I always say when you have a knowing, you know, but until somebody says or you hear something or you read something and you go, that's it. That is it. And you've remembered, you remembered. So yeah, 3 years ago, I had heard about life coaching. I didn't know, there was something just kept calling me about it, but I didn't know much about it, what it is. I knew I could help people with it. I knew I loved life, and you loved that you could do stuff with what you love, your passion. And yeah, so I went in search of someone that could help me with that end of things. And sent emails to this one and that one. And eventually this one lady emailed me back by the name of Caroline Curtis, a woman from Cork who resided in Lanzarote. And she sent me a message a couple of days later, and I actually, am not telling you, I had a complete panic attack. I was like, oh, Jesus, Evelyn, what are you doing? What are you doing? I went outside and took a bit of a breath, and I says, go into that house and give that woman a ring. So I rang her. And I always say to Caroline, I'm so grateful for the first words that she said to me was that, why do you want to become a coach? So it was never about money. And I always go with your gut on any of them things about feeling or why somebody's in why the purpose is why someone's in business. So yeah, joined up with Caroline. Again, the same thing comes to us. Where do you get the money for this? How are you going to afford this? But when you want something, it'll come to you. You'll not think twice about it, you know. So I trained with Caroline. I flew out to Lanzarote, done one-to-one. She's a beautiful woman. And I discovered then through her, Louise Hay's works, you know, and this is it. Oh my God, this was the feeling. This is what I felt, the affirmations, the I am, even speaking the word I am. And through that then other things started following. I discovered Declan Coyle, a wonderful man that changed my life too by just one sentence that he talked about. So how I came then just creating books, it was never a notion of mine. I always would have journaled that. I said, oh, someday maybe, but it was never a big goal. And then I had a business mentor because I needed someone to show me how to set up a website, how to do this and do that. And I had coaching, I had clients coming to me at that stage and they were manifesting.
Amazing. And a couple of things that you touched on there that I'd like to reflect back on, if I may. You always do what you love. You always do what you love. You're led by your heart. And the money is a secondary consideration, which is really interesting. And therefore, the money manifests as a result of you doing what you love. You're very good at reaching out to people. You reached out, or you were connected somehow through the universe with Caroline. You mentioned Louise Hay. You mentioned Declan Coyle. And you said that he said one sentence that changed your life. What was that one sentence, please, Evelyn?
I wrote about it in the book. He said at the end, to that room full of people, you are the host to the God divine energy. And now this wasn't God, the man, the God divine energy. You are the host. And I tell you, Callum, I breathed like it was the first breath I ever took in my entire life and I said, and now we have it. And that is the truth of what we all are. People have different words to put on it, but that's what we are. I breathe. I said, now I remember. How I remember, the only reason I remember is because I come from it. And that's how we remember.
Okay. Can you repeat that phrase one more time, please?
You are the host to the God divine energy.
You are the host to the God divine energy. Beautiful. Beautiful. And thank you for sharing. If I may just comment in from Edwina, one of our regulars on Coffee at 11, and I've asked her permission to share this. She says, thank you for being so honest, Evelyn. I ended my marriage in May 2006. I was only married a year, but with my partner for 6 years, 2 children aged 18 months and a 4-year-old. The memory of my own mum saying to me, you made your bed, whenever I told her I wasn't happy. But we all have choices, and it's so inspiring to hear your story. The shame because we are the only ones, but as it turns out, we weren't the first. We weren't the first, and we won't be the last. So on behalf of Edwina, I'd like to thank you, Evelyn, for, as I say, being so.
Thank you, Edwina.
That's absolutely beautiful. So we're at the stage where you started off dancing, you know, and you had to work through all your own confidence issues. You regained some confidence, I presume, doing the dancing. led you on this journey. You met Caroline, led you into life coaching, and that seems to have been going well. And now COVID has struck, Evelyn. So where are you now? You're in an empty dance studio. I know that this morning.
It's full. Yous are all here. I've never had as many people in the one place at the one time.
I love it. I love it. A lot of perspective, folks.
Absolutely. Absolutely. COVID, I say thank you. Absolutely thank you for this time. Because I was thinking the word virus, it's like VEER US on the path. I think it's an absolute blessing, you know, because I know families that children are seeing the most of their parents that they've ever seen. You know what? It's like going back to old school. My family have never interacted as much as what we do now, albeit through Zoom. And you saw that wee thing that video I sent you, you know, the fun and the crack. But this is where we bring our attention to, because at the start when this all kicked in, you see, you're going to have people that think of us a different way. And we have family group chats and that, and there'll always be someone or a couple. Is anybody showing any symptoms? And Jesus, that's the start of it. And listen, but we don't feed into that. So what has prevailed from the start of a group chat, when you don't feed into something that was a bit scary, and this one's got it and that one's got it, to now it's become full of life, joy, fun and crack. So it depends on what you feed into and what you choose not to feed into that will manifest, you know, into your life.
And how has it affected your business, if I may ask that? Because a lot of people on the call here probably have their businesses have shut down in full or in part. There's a lot of fear out there. So how are you coping? How are you feeling about that?
No bother at all, Colin. So you have to remember when I told you that I was back in the day whenever as I say, I had ended or started my second half of my life, I had nothing. I had photograph albums. I didn't ask for anything. So if I've survived and come through that there, absolutely. It's all about getting creative. Now, what can I do? And it's not coming from an intention of fear because you think, geez, I need to do this to start bringing in money. What your intention that you're putting out is fear, that I have no money. I need to do something because I need to bring in money. So what my intention is, look at the creativity that's being created here, the connection that is being made. And that's what I believe what Dharma is. We all know about the law of karma, but law of Dharma is that we all have this unique talent and ability that is within us. And there's always a unique need for those. And when those both meet there, that's where your abundance, that's where everything comes from, you know, and I just think it's a beautiful time.
Would you do me one favor and go back over karma versus dharma one more time, please?
What I said, we all know what karma is. You know, everybody will throw up karma. Oh, karma will come back. Karma will get you, you know, because you always relate it to something bad, but it works either way, you know, whatever bad or good is to people. But Dharma, the law of Dharma, and I remember I read it in Deepak Chopra's book, I think it's 7 Spiritual Laws of Success. And I went, oh yes, there we have it. It's, you have a unique talent and ability. We all have it that is within us. And it's something that's very effortless. It's something that we take for granted. And it's just a natural thing that we all have. So there's always a unique need for that. There is always some person, something, at that time is looking for that uniqueness. And when those two combine, bang, that is our affluence. That is our abundance. That is our everything. You don't put my talent to get the money, and that's not how it works.
In other words, you free yourself up to do what you love to do and do naturally, and let the universe take care of the rest. Is that a fair layman's reflection of what you just said?
Indeed it is, young Colin. Indeed it is. I always, you know, it's never to be attached to something, because if I was attached, geez, I'll go on this Zoom call here and get a rake of clients. You know, that's not the intention we put out. That's not, you know, it's not to be attached to what the outcome is, because if we're attached to something, that's where your anxiety, that's where your fear, that's where your depression, that's where your doubt, that's where that all kicks in, because you become attached
to a particular outcome. I agree.
Yes.
I was on a Zoom call yesterday morning early with a group, Princess Shelley included, and we were talking about stop selling, start serving. we've got to stop selling our services. Just got to serve. Be you, I'll be me, Princess Shelley will be her, and we just got to go out there and do what we do naturally. And the universe will take care of our needs. We'll look after our needs. I love what you said earlier, that going back to this Dharma thing, because that intrigues me. Right? I'll be checking this out afterwards. That there's, not only have I got a unique talent that's unique to me, that only I can bring in only my way to the universe, but also there's a unique need out there at the same time waiting for just me to bring me to the party, if that makes sense. And I'm very excited with that, and I'm looking at some of the faces on the call here this morning, and I'm excited for them as well. That's just fantastic. Evelyn, please talk to us about how you believe the world will be post-COVID, whenever the veil lifts and we go back to new normal. What will the new normal look like from your perspective, do you think?
Well, just before you finish on Dharma, that's why I said that's why there's no competition. You see, if you get Dharma, there's never, ever, ever competition. Somebody could be doing the same or something similar, but do you have that uniqueness? There's never competition. Post-COVID, I think it's going to be, again, marvelous. I actually don't want, this might sound all wrong, but I dread, well, not dread, no, I'm not going to say dread. I'm enjoying this time. I'm loving this time. I don't know if well, look, things could go back to what people's norm was, but in this time, I think people are going to change. People are in an environment now what they're not, if they're normally used to a controlled environment, a structured time and that, but now is a time what's going to happen for people. There's stuff going to come bring forth from them that they're going to heal from, things that they haven't recognized within themselves that is coming to a surface now. And this is the time for people to reflect on themselves. And I think this time will bring about change for people and to go back into whatever they class their, whatever norm is. I think we'll take less things for granted. I think that people will be, and because I would miss that, you know, I would miss that we wouldn't have the same interaction that we do in this period, because I've never had as much interaction with people. So I think things will be absolutely perfect for people. This change needs to happen. It is meant to happen. And I have always, in meditation this last while, or even months before this, I've always heard, prepare, prepare, prepare. And I say, prepare for what? Prepare. Every day I was getting up, prepare, prepare, prepare. So as it turns out, I was prepared. I had my wee studio all set up. I had my light and all got. I had my, for invoicing people, I had my wee thing all set up there like a month ago for selling books. And it's, Jesus, sure, I'm prepared. But preparing ourselves mentally for this here, or not even, but spiritually, I think this is going to awaken or help to awaken those that are ready to awaken to what you are, you know.
I have a question for you though, if I may, and that is, do you think there are people out there who are actually afraid of this silence, that they're actually scared stiff because they've now got to start digging deep to see and addressing some stuff that's been suppressed over the years? Is that a fear that you think some people have at this time?
Oh, I absolutely believe that that's very true for a lot of people. You see, pre-COVID, if we are led by ego, now ego is not just this, oh, you're fantastic. Ego's a thing that we all have, the human aspect of us that is afraid of change. A lot of people are ego driven or driven by ego. So if we're very attached or have been making the material things or positions or having to get this and having to get that when things was going the way previous to this, you see what has happened if you've always allowed ego to lead you, this is what it's going to do in this time frame too. Ego is all going to crop in there in different forms. It's going to fear and what are you going to do and all these things. And whether people will stop and take a reflection and take a look at themselves and bring peace to themselves and to see this. And then perhaps after this, ego won't lead them. They won't be led so much. But if we are always led by ego, you're always going to be, no matter what possessions you possess in this life, you know, it's always going to step in or find its way in some way. Can I just quickly mention, I was speaking to a guy the other night who's a personal trainer, and he was very much set up a few months ago for online. Now he is a quite top package, you know, to join him, like he's worldwide in that. But and he's very much into a lot of law of attraction, spirituality books and things like that. So, and he keeps his circle very close. He's about 5 friends. So when I spoke to him the other night and I said, so what have you been doing for fun? What fun have you been bringing into your life? I swear, when was the last time you had a good belly laugh where the tears streamed from your eyes laughing? And he didn't know. He couldn't tell me. He says, because he's quite serious, because he works. He wants to do speaking eventually. I said, what do you want to speak about? He says, I want to tell people how great life is, how you can work for yourself, how you can make your dreams come true. And I said, so why can't you allow laughter or joy into your life? And he said, because I want to prove others wrong, and how he succeeded. And I said, but do you see how smart ego is? Ego knows, number 1, you're not going to watch the negative news. Ego knows, number 2, that you've only got a limited amount of friends, that you're not going to get all this negative news in. But ego has now still crept its way in by saying, prove people wrong. You see, you're not truly aligned to your spiritual path, because ego will creep in all different ways, and it's bringing our awareness to that and into ourselves, of how it can easily slip in through the wee cracks.
You're very perceptive, Evelyn. I think that's coming across. It's definitely coming across to me. I'm watching some heads nodding here on the call. You've got an innate perceptiveness, which I think is just truly beautiful. By the way, have to compliment you on the lovely lemon. We learned earlier it's a frock. It's not a top, it's a frock. And,
I love that word, frock. I love
it's a great word. It's a great word, and it's just it's lighting up all our days. Thank you for that. We're going to go to Q&A in a minute, and I'm going to look for a tip from you in a minute before we go to Q&A from the floor. But you mentioned your 2 books. Real quick, tell us about the 2 books.
This is my original copy of this and Effortless. A Life You Want was the stories of the people that I had coached or worked with. We know about the likes of Oprah Winfrey and all these people that came from nothing and created these wonderful lives. But you see, for us, everyday, ordinary, working class people, it still seems too far out of our norm. So this was everyday stories, everyday people, how you create, how you manifest. And that's what, and it was really like an entry point. So that, number 1, I said, nobody's ever going to Google any words that I've written in the book. The text is wonderful because I wear glasses and I love that they're not all wee. And it's a simple book, an easy read, which is coming back to people, how you understand this, that this isn't out, this is what is actually happening. So that was what A Life You Want was. How do you create and manifest? Effortless was about how to have that effortless flow, because questions arose from the first book. The biggest one normally is what I'm asking for is not coming about. And if I'm trying to be all positive and people are negative in my life, like how do I, I'm trying my best and they're influencing me. And there were personal stories, what I've gone through with the education system with my own children. They're now big, they're 21, 18 and 15, but by Jesus, I have learned this last couple of years, these are my teachers. These are my lessons in life. And when people say whenever about children, I could write a book about them, well, I think they got to mention, but they'll never read the books. Someday they might.
I'm looking for people to come on the show and be themselves, and you're the quintessential, this is me, and it's beautiful and very refreshing. A couple of comments that have come in. Patricia said earlier about the power of Dharma. She says, absolutely the most beautiful power. Una said, I too am enjoying this time and feel it's such a beautiful time for people to be able to reconnect in a more loving way. And then I put up, Eamon Smith says, you had me at Dharma, Evelyn. I love it. And I put Evelyn's social media contacts in the chat box there, folks. Check them out, copy them, and then make contact and get your hands on some of her books. Evelyn, before we go to Q&A from the floor, because I'm quite sure there are people dying to get in and ask you a couple of questions, what one tip would you give to anybody, your nearest and dearest, how to get through COVID and come out the far end in great shape, you do, whatever?
Well, the tip is to stay present. Take your focus off that word. Take the focus off the word pandemic. Jesus, put it, change the way you see things. That's a big thing. When you change the way you see things, and that's the truth, everything changes in your life, but stay present. Because see, in this present moment here, that we're all gathered here now, everything's perfect. You're safe, you're well, you have everything that you need, everything is perfect. Try and bring your awareness to staying present because it's all perfect. And you're safe. You're very safe.
It's like, if dare I say it, in the nicest possible terms, it's like being in the Church of Evelyn this morning, and it's just beautiful.
This little light of mine. I've always been down. I said to
Here
my
we
friend
go.
joking yesterday, I said, if somebody comes on and I start singing this little light of mine, so I did it.
No, it's come here. It's an absolute joy having you on here this morning. So we're going to go to Q&A from the floor. Who's going to put their hand up first and ask a question of our guest? Princess Shelley.
Hey everybody, loving these 11 o'clock appointments, loving them. Evelyn, like Colin said, you're a breath of fresh air. And just before I ask my question, I just wanted to applaud you massively. I've been a dance teacher since I was 12. I've been teaching classes here in Clare, and that's 30 years. I'm level 42, and I always maintain the only reason I've ever had the confidence to do it and stand up in front of groups of people and be Princess Shelley is because I was doing it before anyone told me that I couldn't. So to come to it when you came to it, I think was such a huge thing, because I think there's so many people that I think we gather notions along the way that we might not be able to do something. My question anyway was, you do lots of things. You have your books, so you're authoring and your life coach and you're speaking and you're dancing. I take it you're still dancing, are you?
Mm-hmm. I have a class tonight. I'm doing that online. That's what I forgot.
Excellent. Brilliant. So when you get up in the morning and you go through your day, what you have ahead, like, do you timetable, I'm going to choreo this routine later, I'm going to sit down and look at that chapter of the book that I'm looking to finish? Like, do you timetable and schedule stuff, or do you just organically go through your day? Because like that, I have lots of things and I never know whether I'm doing it right or what everyone else is doing. And that's why this series is so great, to see how other people are doing things.
Thanks, Princess Shelley. What do I do in the morning? Do I schedule anything? I used to have a diary. I still have a diary there, but there's nothing really written in it except, if I've Zoom calls and stuff to do. Morning time, always gratitude time. I'll always make time to go out, and it's beautiful these mornings to sit outside for a wee while or something. Do I schedule anything or routine it? No. I know in my head I'm dancing the night at 7 o'clock, so I'll get set up, at a certain time. I'll make sure everybody's on the group. And something might just come to me, and then I'll do that there. I suppose it's like people like to have structure. So that's actually a nice thing, because the days, that's a beauty thing now, the days are neither here nor there and time's all over the place. So we're not tied to any of it. So no, I don't keep myself accountable to a timetable, but I need to write stuff down when I was out and about, because I can't keep it all in here. So I hope that's
the answer I was hoping for, because aside from COVID, obviously COVID has gifted us all this time, and we've all got lots of reflection and lots of time to be grateful for things, and that was what I was like. That I might suddenly think, oh, I must work on this strictly thing that I'm doing, and I must look at this to do with the blinds that I do, or I must, and I just kind of flit like a butterfly, just flit, and it sounds like you do the same, and I wasn't sure, was I in a minority, or sounds like you do that, so I feel totally validated now.
I have to come in on this, because this came up. Shelley and I had a coffee this morning about 7:30, and this particular point came up because there was somebody on the call yesterday. In fact, Evelyn, you were there yesterday, and we had a very, it looked like a very structured, organized individual in Leonie Lynch. And Michelle was saying, I should have asked her that, because she says, I wonder, is it all structured, or does she flit? And so Shelley is delighted now to meet a fellow flitter.
A flitter. Do you know what they call flitting up this neck of the woods? Whenever you move house, people say, did you flit? Have you flitted yet? And you never flit on a Saturday from the hospital. They say a Saturday flit is a very short sit.
Okay, from flitting, who's next question? Thanks, Shelley. Edwina, you're live.
Thank you, Evelyn. Thank you for sharing your story with us, and it's just fantastic to be surrounded with like-minded people, and certainly not ego. And I suppose that's my question. This is something I'm challenged with. When you have to interact with the ego people, and especially if some of them are work colleagues, I am challenged with, why can't they see it the way I see it? Why are they not thinking like me? Have you any tips for trying? I know they have to find their own path and their own journey, but when you're interacting with a group of people on a daily basis, it can get quite frustrating, and I do breathe and you walk away, but there's times, you know, you want to just hit your head off the wall. So any tips to try and manage that maybe a wee bit better?
Well, that's a lovely question. And you know what? When you come on there, the hair stood in my arms. So that's always a good thing. Anyway,
Right.
I would look, see the thing, when we have an expectation on someone else, see when people have expectations on us, so if somebody was expecting you to behave in a certain way or think in a certain way, we don't like that when we have an I don't like expectations. So I don't expect nothing. I don't place an expectation on anyone else. And you must remember, people can only offer you or give you what is within them. So as I brought my mug today, but I didn't put coffee in it, so it's an empty, sorry Colin, because I had 2 cups already, but I can't give you nothing from this because I have nothing in it. Okay. If someone fills, it depends on how people fill themselves up. So if people only fill themselves up with fear, with worry, that it's other people's fault, that's all that I can give you. I can't give you anything else. Mm-hmm. So you have to come to the stage of seeing that, and it's normally a reflection. What we see in others is somewhere a reflection in ourselves. Perhaps it's, I always say, stuff lies dormant in the unconscious, that perhaps people bring out things that there's parts of us that we don't particularly like within ourselves, or a fear of that we turn into that, and it's a healing that we bring about ourselves. So what is to bring peace to you, and is to just see that's all that person can offer me. And no matter if somebody gives you the best compliment in the world or the worst insult, when you are in tune with that divine spirit within you, nothing can touch you. Nothing, because you're only of peace, you're of love. That's what you're of. There you go again. I tell you, that's what you're of, Jen.
I'm the same. That's wild. There's just a sensation. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, there's obviously, it's mad. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah.
You're welcome.
A fabulous question, Edwina. Thank you for that, and a fabulous response. And I love, again, we're back to intuition, and I love the fact that you know, the hairs rose on Evelyn's arm. So there's a connection being made there, even though you're miles apart. Yeah. Just fabulous. The word that comes to me here is you have a beautiful wisdom about you, Evelyn. I think that's shared by everybody on the call here. So Sarah Ward wants to ask a question.
Hi, how you doing?
Grand, Sarah.
Good, good. I'm loving this. I'm loving your energy, and I'm loving your openness and everything. It's fantastic. I love that you're a butterfly, because I'm a bit of a butterfly myself. I kind of find, Jesus, I'm popping from one thing to another, and I really have to discipline myself to get stuck into something and stick with it, you know. What I wanted to ask you was, you said you wrote 2 books, and I'm wondering, with your first book, how did you find it difficult to let go of it? And had you fear that, you know, oh God, is this what I want it to be, and will it be received well? I'm at that point myself now. I've just written a book, and I'm finding it difficult to let go of it, because I'm kind of saying, oh God, people might think this is complete rubbish. So if you could give me some advice on that, I'd really appreciate it.
Well, you see, you have structure in your life, because when you're writing a book, sometimes we have to set, and I think when you're doing something like that, I always got up at a certain time, listen to a wee bit of meditation, and because otherwise you would never have written the book. So you have your book wrote, so well done, the job's done. All you need now is to put it out. So you see, I know many a person that is holding on to that fear, when, again, it's your intention. What was my purpose in writing this book? Why, you know, is it all about me, that I want people to see who I am? Or was it to serve? Was it to bring service to others? Now, when I started writing the book, and by the way, I do not have an English qualifications. I tried it 3 times. I do not have, and I snuck into university. Well, I do have it in my literature. But anyway, your intention there, Sarah, is you want to bring joy. Obviously, this is what your intention was, to sit down and write the book. And as well as that, to have a wee achievement, it's always something that I've wanted to do. So I'll just do this. Now is to let go of that fear, because now what happens is, this is ego stepping in. It's going, hold on a wee minute now, Sarah. Who the hell do you think you are? You know, WBDH, you know, you think, and people are going to look at that and say, geez, who does your woman think she is? Or even to put the word author after your name. You're like, what? Who does your woman? She only lives down the road there, you know? But Shelley, you just let it go. You let go and let God and let it go out there and let it do what it was intended to do. Because when I wrote that first book, I used to sit in bed at night. I hadn't a clue how it was going to get published, how much it was going to cost, who did it, but I always saw myself when I needed something and couldn't find something. And I used to visualize or see somebody sitting at a time that they needed something in their life. And I just kept saying, hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on. It's coming, it's coming, it's coming. So that was always the intention. So when people say to me now, how many copies to say? I don't know. And the accountant might know, but I don't know. You know, I always know what the intention is. So just let go of that, because remember what you are. This is about remembrance. You are a divine, beautiful being. If you have written this book from your heart, from your love, from your joy, you let that go. You send it out and let it go wherever it's to go. And on you go. And wish it good luck.
Okay. Cheers for that. Yeah. Yeah. It's that's good advice.
Have you got a publisher?
Well, I'm kind of, there is a guy in Limerick who publishes, and what he does is he'll publish it and then he'll give the rest to a charity of my choice. Basically, you don't make any money out of it. You just publish it. And the other option then is to go with Amazon. My son was kind of saying, would you not go with Amazon, and then you can do an audio as well, so that people I deal with have an illness, so basically it's advice and help for them to cope with different things, and it would help a lot of other people as well. So
well, sure, after this, if you want to give me a shout and we'll have a chat here and you can see what your discussion is. All right, no bother.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sarah. Thank you, Sarah. And Sarah's another very interesting and fabulous individual who's agreed to come on the show at a future. Because
author, will she have author now by the time when she's on? Not that
Yeah.
long, hey?
Perhaps prospective author at the time. But we'll see. Looking forward to that. Great question. Another beautiful answer. Thank you, Evelyn. There's a comment in from somebody in the on the call, and it says, "You're such a beautiful, open-hearted lady. Thanks for all of this. Love and life, XX." Regrettably, there's no name in there. It's Galaxy S8. So that's all. That's the only way I can refer to that person. So they know who they are. Perhaps you know who they are.
I'll have to find out who owns Galaxy S8. 6'2", 6-pack.
Noel, close your ears to that stuff. So Galaxy S8, if you put your name in there, I'll happily share it. And then Patricia said, again, beautiful, intention is number one. We're going to go to Liam Burke for the last question of this morning. And Liam, you're live.
Good morning, Callum. Good morning, Evelyn. You know, I have no problem speaking in front of a busload of people, but having to speak to a phone is, it's a bit eerie. But anyway, I'll have to get used to it. Evelyn and Callum, I've been following you for the last number of years, and it's just wonderful, Evelyn, watching you progress from 3 years ago. It's just amazing. I've been watching how you've been on the, especially your audio. It's been fantastic. One question, do you intend bringing your books, audiobooks? Because you sent them to me via audio, kind of to have a look at them, and I love them. One reason was I'd be driving and I would listen to it. Have you had intention of bringing your books that we can buy them through audio? That's number one. Number two, you might do for this group today, you send me a link called Good Morning Greatness. And Evelyn, every day when I get up in the morning, I put on Good Morning Greatness and I go out in the garden and I listen to it. It is probably one of the greatest 2 minutes of your life that you could listen to. And I would love you if you give that as a present to the people that are listening to this today.
Well, Liam Burke, thank you so much. And may I say just at the end, Liam Burke done me a quote. He's on my book, in the first book, and this was Liam Burke's, he's an independent tour operator. 18 months ago, I did not know where the price of the next loaf of bread would come from. Now, in the month of January, I have back-to-back tours, which is unheard of in my work, that I love and keeps flowing to me. I call it the law of Evelyn. And Liam has always been there. We have never physically met, but Liam Burke, when I was going to record audios, I'd say, Liam, will you listen to this? Will you listen to this? Give me your feedback on this. So we have never ever met physically, but Liam has always listened and given me his honest feedback and everything. Liam, question number one. The first book is on audio. A Life You Want is on audio. You can get it on Audible. and it's on Kindle, paperback and audio, all three for A Life You Want. And Effortless, yes, I will bring it out on audio whenever I get out to go to a recording studio, but it will go out in audio as well. And absolutely, everyone, I have a morning gratitude audio. It's not a meditation, it's just how we start a morning, just gratitude, just giving thanks for stuff. I have, it's actually on my website and it says free gift. And when I say free gift, it is a free gift. I collect no emails. I do not want anyone's email address. You just go on to evelynmcaleer.com, click on free gift, and that's the morning gratitude audio.
Beautiful.
Colin, keep up your great work. And Evelyn, I just love, I've been watching you for the last number of years. And basically, there's a couple of you, and I'll mention them on Monday. Without you guys, I would not be where I am today without you. Trust me. Evelyn, Colin, and I'm going to mention them all, quite a few of them, that have done me so much, you have no idea. And I will thank them all on Monday.
Thank you, Liam, and you've made my job very easy, because I was just about to let you know that we're going to take a break for Easter. We're going to respect Good Friday tomorrow, and we're coming back to the cafe on Monday at 11 o'clock, and Liam Burke has graciously agreed to, I've been trying to get Liam on the show for some time now, and it took Evelyn McAleer to be coming on for me to finally twist the arm hard enough to say, Liam.
Good man, Liam.
Happy days. So Liam's coming on Monday, a fascinating story. And looking forward to that. Immensely independent professional tour operator. Really curious to see how things are with you these days, Liam. Looking forward to that immensely. Evelyn McAleer, it's been an absolute pleasure to have you on Coffee at 11 this morning. Thank you for your wisdom, for your beauty, for your honesty, for your openness, and for being who you are. And you've helped a lot of people on this call. So wish you well. Namaste.
Namaste. And can I mention, Colin, please, if you're about tomorrow evening at 7 o'clock, and I didn't realize it was Good Friday, but what a great day to have it on. I'm having my virtual book launch of Effortless, because we had the physical book launch of that, but it's happening tomorrow night at 7 o'clock on Zoom. And I have the wonderful speakers coming in from Utah. I have Jeffrey Olsen and Dr. Jeff O'Driscoll, and Declan Coyle will also be speaking. And we have music. So you're more than welcome to come to the virtual book launch tomorrow night. You'll find it on my page, the link, the Zoom link for tomorrow at 7. Thank you, Colin, and thank you everyone else so much for giving me your time today. How are you doing?
Going to give you the deaf community clap, because we're all muted. Absolutely.
Wonderful. Wonderful.
And folks, have a very happy Easter. Thank you for all being part of this. Liam Burke, looking forward to hearing your story on Monday. Folks, have a lovely Easter. Stay safe. See you here at 11 o'clock on Monday. Slán.
Thank you. Slán.